Hi, cutie pies. I am Lanikia. This is what happened on the Soaps Days of Our Lives edition. Today is Monday, March the 11th, 2024. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this one a good old 4. Let's get into it. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and get into this. It wasn't that great of an episode for me personally, not because it wasn't a good episode, but just because certain things that I would like to have happen didn't happen. So let's start off with um Holly and Tate. Holly is doing a wonderful job because I can't stand her little self. So Holly is there. She's like, "Why is Tate's mom texting me?" But it actually is not Tate's mom. It's Tate. He's gotten his mom's phone and everything, and he's texting her. So he ends up sneaking into her room. He sees her, and he's elated to see her. He's happy she's doing well. He was so afraid that she would make it out of the coma, and so they're just catching up. And he ends up kissing her. Y'all know Tate always gonna shoot his shot whenever it's time. So he ends up kissing her and all of this and that. And then she tells him, she's really sorry. And he's like, okay, because he thinks she's telling him she's sorry for everything he's been through. But Holly has no clue of what he's been through. So he tells her, he said, Holly, she was sorry that she took the wrong pills. He was like, girl, you need to be sorry because while you were taking the wrong pills, ending up in a coma, I got put in prison. And then I went to this juvie home. Then I finally went to like this, I'm in this halfway house or whatever. My life has been hell. My future does not look bright. And it's all because of you, because you decided that you wanted to take the drugs and didn't know what it was. Like, my life is over. So I need you to tell the truth to get me out of this mess. And she says, oh my gosh, Tate, I'm sorry, I can't. And he said, excuse me, what? And she's like, no, I can't tell the truth. And he was like, what do you mean? Like, what's happening here? And she says, I can't because when I was out of it, and y'all not finna tell me Nicole really got fired. She said, when I was out of it, um, I heard my mom saying when she thought I was asleep, she was telling EJ how disappointed she would be if she found out the drugs were actually mine. So I can't do it. He said, so you gonna let my life, my future be ruined so that you can keep up appearances that are not true? Like, you're not this good girl. You want to be this good girl, this golden child or whatever. That's not the truth. So you're telling me it's okay for me to have this blemish on my record, but not you, because you want your mommy to look at you like you're good. See, this is why this girl is 16 when she was trying to go after Johnny and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, Holly's just pretty much like, she's not about to do this. And so he's begging her at this point, please, please don't do this to me, Holly. Please, you have to tell the truth. And then there's somebody's twisting the doorknob because they want to come in. They want to come in, and Tate is there, and he should not be there, and all that. But he told her about everything EJ did to him and how he blamed him and all that. Holly doesn't care. And did y'all see her reaction? I said, "Oh, see, I was feeling a little bad for her for a tiny little bit, and then I saw her reaction to Tate, and I said, "Oh, well, no, she good. She good, Tate. Leave her alone. You should have recorded her saying all of this to you, um, so that you would have proof that she knew what she was doing, that she knew the drugs were hers and not his." Because she's like, well, I could just say that the drugs were they weren't my drugs. I got them from somewhere else. He said, no, they would be thinking that you were covering up for me. They would still think that they were my drugs. She said, well, I can't say the drugs was mine. I'm sorry. And went on about her business. How gonna go on about her day? She said, I'm not gonna have my mom and them mad at me. It's you or me, and I choose me. And that's it with Tate and Holly, child. We're gonna see what happens to them, I guess, tomorrow. Her little selfish self. She acting this little raw though. All right, let's move on. See, this is why this episode gets a 4, because then we go over here and we see Paulina, Abe, at the hospital, right? And they're just talking and everything. And you could tell Paulina isn't, she's not her best, of course. And so they're talking, and Paulina starts fading away. And then all of a sudden, Lexi comes. This ghost comes, and we find out it's Lexi. And first of all, very cute nails. Her nails were pretty. But I was so disappointed in this. I almost gave it a 3. Just because, okay, I understand um that we want to bring Lexi back, but I don't think this was the way to do it. Like, even if it's just this little piece, no, like, if no face, no place in the show. Like, if you're not going to show your face and we're just literally going to listen to them talk and look at something and just see a finger holding you, showing your wedding, like, what are we doing? Like, days was days. And I didn't, and so that's why it gets a 4 from me. And I really wanted to put a 3, but I liked later on in the episode, I liked it a little bit more, so I'm just gonna give it a 4. Yeah, I'm just gonna give it a 4 because of that. But I don't know. This didn't do it for me. But Lexi comes through. Abe gets his memory back. Finally, he gets his memory and everything back. He said it's time to live, and he's not ready to go. And Lexi says, "I'm not here for you. I'm here for Paul. I'm not even here for Paulina. I'm here to tell you to believe in the fight." And they believe they fight. Paulina's all right. Let's move on. So then we see Ava is tied up. And she's all mad and upset because I don't know why she thought Clyde was telling her the truth, but okay, girl. So she's all upset, and Steve and John come up on her, and they were like, "Ava," and she said, "Well, I had to do it. I didn't have a choice." And they said, "You had a choice," and she said, "We don't have time for this. We got to find Trip, and Wendy." Because he said they're as good as dead, and they were like, "We don't believe that. We're gonna find them." So they go back and start looking, right? So then we go over here to sorry, I'm deleting my notes as I go along. um then we go over here to Wendy and Trip. So they're locked in the brewery, and they are fading fast, but they're to try to stay with each other. They're daydreaming about, just being married and what life would be like, how they would live, and all that kind of stuff. So that's that. So then we go, and Steve, John, and Ava are trying to look at this tape that she was given. They're trying to look at this tape to figure out where they are. So they say, okay, we need to contact Rafe. So they contact Rafe, right? And first of all, Jada looked fire. She looked so pretty. I like her hair like that and everything. She looked really pretty. But so they contact Rafe, and he's at the police station, and they still can't believe they had the dirty cop. And then Harris shows up, and Harris is just like, he checked himself out of the hospital. He was advised not to. I said, okay, so is this how you gonna die now? Like, what? How are you supposed to die? But he checked himself out of the hospital and everything, and but against doctor's orders. And you can see he's grimacing, he's in pain. So yeah, he's doing this, but he shouldn't be. But anyways, so they're talking about, we need to find out what all was infiltrated with the dirty cop, and who else could have possibly been dirty and everything. And then they get a call from John, and John tells them about tripping everything, the video. And Rafe said, "How long have you had this evidence?" And John said, "You want to take a look at this or not? We don't have time for all that." And Rafe says, "Send it over." So Jada and they all talk, and they figure out they're at a brewery. Jada is gonna stay at the office, but Rafe and Harris are gonna go over to the brewery to try to rescue Chirp and Wendy. So then when that happens, we see that Steve and Ava and John are looking at the tape again, and they can see Wendy doing like sign language, hand motions on it. And they realize she's talking about beer, and they were like, "That looks like the brewery near the airport." And they were like, Ava was like, "We were just out there," and it was like, "Let's go again." So they run to the airport. Mila, no ma'am. Leave these rubber bands alone. So they run to the airport, right? So once they get to the airport, Steve and um John busts the door open, and they tell Ava to stay out because at this point they see what's probably has happened. And so they tell her to stay out, and Steve and John are working on Trip and Wendy, and Ava's like, "What's happening? What's going on?" I said, "Girl, can't you see they on the floor?" Do it look like they're alive right now? You see they trying to do CPR on these people. What you think's going on? But Ava's my girl, so not too much on her, Nikki. So Ava's just like, "What's going on?" And Steve says, "Call 911." And she said, "I already done called him." He said, "Call him again." And so she's trying to call them and tell them, hurry up, you got to get here." And so Steve, so she's doing all of that. And then the next thing you see, Rafe and Harris burst in, and they see them working on Trip and Wendy, and they can't get a pulse or anything from those two. So let me see. I'm sorry. I'm reading my notes to see if I got it all back. Um, got it all through. Yeah, that was it pretty much, y'all. That was the episode. I don't know. It was a four to me, not because it wasn't good, but because like it could have been better. Like I want to see if you're gonna do that with Lexi, please show her. Why are you not showing Lexi? The episode was probably would have been like a seven, but that brought it all the way down. And and then Paulina tried to die, but Abe was able to bring her back by saying, "I believe." And so because he believed, she was able to be brought back. Which not, I mean, I'm not saying anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that I'm just glad the man has his memory back. I'm glad he has his memory back. Um, and all of that, and I'm glad that finally everything is starting to come together with this whole thing with Clyde. And then which they're upset with Ava because they said Clyde is probably long gone now, ma'am. But the whole Holly and Tate thing, I know a lot of people don't like the young generation. Excuse me, I do. I think that's very fascinating, and I want to see where this storyline goes. Like, how long are you going to lie and act like you didn't have the drugs? Like, what, where are we going from here? I would like to see how this plays out. So I'm interested in that. Even though she ticked me off today, I said, "Girl," and Tate was looking at her like, "Are you serious right now? You you really gonna throw me under the bus so that you can save yourself, so your mama you won't get in trouble with your mama?" I said, "That's what it sounds like, Tate. That's exactly what it sounds like." And Holly was just like, "I don't know what to tell you. I'm not getting in trouble. I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna be in trouble." Um, but I don't know. Just selfish. But we expect that from Holly. That's exactly how we knew she was going to be. Anyways, y'all, I forgot to put my little flower on here, so I'm done. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.